Hey, good morning. Just gonna do a walk and talk because it's good exercise. It's good cardio to be able to talk and move at the same time. Plus, I'm mic'd up, so it'll give me a good, a different kind of audio sample to be able to compare and contrast to with, from the video that I had the other day that I haven't put out yet. So I'm gonna throw out all these videos of me just walking and talking. I've got some crazy shit. Oh, there is a fat honking squirrel. I don't know if you can see it on the road. I'm not really good at this camera yet, but he's out on that road. There he goes. Ha ha. Ah, nice. Dude, there's no telling what's on here. I've got turkeys, I've got deer, I've got foxes, armadillos. This is a zoo out here. So, a little bit of background. So, I worked for the military for 20 years. I'm retired military. Air Force. And I'm that dude who cashed in all his chips. I had a great job. I had the sickest job in the world. I was making a lot of money for not a lot of work. Oh, dude, I'm crazy. And I gave it up. I walked away from it because I couldn't do it. One, I was tired of working for the government. It didn't feel right. I did it for 20 years. I didn't want to do it anymore. And two, my life was sucking away. Money wasn't worth it. I'm broke now, so don't think I'm like, oh, he made his money. No, I'm broke, but I don't care. Because even though it's harder, I think I'm actually a lot happier. So I'm now a pensioner on a fixed income off my military pension. And it's not much, but I'm making it work because, well, yeah. Why else? That way I can pursue a life of art. Like, that's all that matters. Like, I really don't give a shit about anything else. I want to paint and I want to make music. I've dedicated 20 years to something that I didn't always agree with. And now it's time for me. So, I'm going to walk and talk. Just going up here to the ridge because it's so freaking gorgeous. I cashed in my 401k. Bought a 16 acres out here in Tennessee. Literally a cabin in the woods. It's a tiny house. It's an adjustment. It's not like, no, it's pretty small. Actually, it's pretty small. It's like 500 square feet, and I've got 2 outbuildings right now. And I'm about to build, but it's okay. I'm going to build an art studio. Although it took us, like 6 months to sell our house or something. So that was a lot of the stuff I had saved up for my buildings. It's a challenge, but whatever, because I was going to build a giant, 40 by 60 or 20 by 60 building up here on this ridge here where I'm at now. But it didn't work out. I'll get there though. It's all good. That's going to be my back. One day that's going to be my front yard. Here, let's do it like this. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Oh, wait. Okay, I think I can zoom. Oh, my drink. I spilled my drink. No. All right, not all of it. Oh, that's panning. I don't remember how to zoom. Oh, I think I have to go into a setting. Either way. Screw it. I'm not that concerned. But this is a really good place. This is an oasis out here. It's probably a half mile to the actual main road, which isn't really much of a main road. I mean, technically it's a highway, but it's, yeah, we're out in the boonies out here. This is my ridge. And then down below I've got face track. Are you on face track? No. Exit. Start. There's my pretty mug. But no, I bought 16 acres. I've got a ridge up here with a nice little field on it. And then I've got a bowl down. It's a huge gully with like a perfectly shaped bowl down there. I think I might put a stage eventually. I'll probably put a little cabin down there. But I'm definitely going to put I want to put an outdoor stage, maybe a little picnic pavilion or something down there eventually, and then play some live music down there. That would be so cool, man. Out here in the hollers, have a little oasis to be able to like hang out and just you know, be whatever, be whoever you want to be. And that's the cool thing about out here is I wake up now and I don't have to be somebody else. I can be me. And that's something that really means a lot. And because when I was in the military and stuff, I had to be somebody else. I had to be a different person. It couldn't be me. That's just hard. It just gets old, you know. Oh, hey, I got an idea. So I'm going to release a video. I haven't released it yet. It's a long overdue promise of mine that I was going to become a rapper. So officially, technically speaking, if you have a rap video on YouTube, you're a rapper, right? So I will officially, when I let it out, I'll officially become a rapper just to fulfill a promise from years ago. It'll be so funny. So one of the things I mentioned in the video, and actually kind of looking at this field kind of reminds me, looking at the topology of the field, I had an idea a long time ago, and you know, I have a lot of ideas, so I like to throw them out there. I don't always follow through with my ideas, obviously, because I'm not a physicist or an engineer, but I had an idea about how to use time to find oil. So hear me out. So we know in science that time is warped by density. So the more dense an object something is, the more mass it has, the more bending on space and time, okay? The old trope is if you held out a blanket, that's space-time, and then you want to throw some planets or a black hole or a star, then you start basically chucking, you know, like tennis balls, bowling balls, things like that. And that's how a lot of teachers will use, you know, like as an example to show you like the effects of gravity on space-time. So if you had a sheet stretched out, let's say you had 3 of your friends to help you hold a corner, and y'all stretched that sheet out as far as you could, and then maybe a 5th person comes out and tosses a bowling ball in. Well, that's going to pull that sheet down. Well, that's the same thing as plopping a black hole right in the middle of space-time. It's going to do the exact same thing as that bowling ball did. Well, that tells us one thing that's very important, and that's gravity affects the flow of time. Now, everybody's seen the movie Interstellar. Well, no, probably not, but it's a really good movie if you haven't seen it. But in Interstellar, they deal with that a lot. They go to this planet and, you know, and time passes differently on that planet because the gravity is so strong. The planet is nestled on the outer edges, you know, in proximity to a very large black hole. So something like an hour on that planet would be like years on Earth. And that's relativity for you. That's for another time. Now, the question is wait, Chris, you said something about finding oil using time. What the heck are you even talking about, dude? Well, hear me out. So, gravity affects time. And it's all theoretical because I'm sure the technology may or may not exist yet, but you take an atomic clock, okay? If you were to put a clock in space, okay, you're going to have sync issues with Earth. That's why timing is so important for a lot of our satellite communications. You know, the stuff in orbit. Timing has to be synced up. So if you look at any computer network, you're going to have a time server. Time is a very important measurement factor for many applications, okay? You can argue it's arbitrary. That's fine. That's fine. However, that's not the point of this conversation. It's just that, look, time exists as far as we're concerned, okay? As much as inches, feet, you know, we use time as a measurement. Now, with that said, time flows differently depending where you're at. Not only in space and in the universe, obviously next to a black hole, you would experience a whole lot. However, if you're on Mount Everest, there's going to be a time difference on top of Mount Everest. There'll be a slight time difference than there would be at the base of Mount Everest over a period of time. So therefore, gravity affects time. Gravity, density, etc. I would probably surmise that at the top of Mount Everest, you're further away from that giant core mass of the ground that we call Earth than I am right now standing on it. So now that we know that time exists, We know that space-time, we know that gravity and mass can affect space-time. Well, imagine this. Imagine if you had some very accurate atomic clocks, okay? Now imagine if you had a whole bunch of them and you set out a grid survey over a known piece of land. Let's say you want to do a baseline. What you do is you get these clocks, these atomic clocks, and you set them out in a grid. And what you do is you start out and you start collecting time measurements using these atomic clocks. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to do this first initial measurement probably based on altitude and also the known geology of the region. Let's say you want to go to a place that's extremely solid where we know there's no caverns underneath it. We know it's just rock and dirt, all right? All the way down as far as we're concerned. You take those time measurements. And then in a similar region with a similar geology, well, basically what I'm saying is over time what you could do is you would be able to start using the time differences in the atomic clocks to ascertain the density of the ground beneath it. And what I mean by that is, if it's all based on density, then surely there'd be a time difference between a more hollow ground versus a solid ground. Kind of like if you were using sonar, or you were doing, an archaeological survey using sound or something, where they'll go through and you've probably seen it on like History Channel, where they'll push this lawnmower looking thing and they'll do a survey and they're like, look here, the ground's been disturbed. We can tell that there's an ancient burial site here. It's the same thing. So it's all about the ground density. In that case, it's sound waves that are reverberating back, and then the software is reconstructing the image based on the readings, the seismic readings. Well, imagine it's the same thing, except it's using time instead of sound, okay? So density affects time, and mass and density stretches time. Imagine that blanket we were just talking about. You've got a sheet with your friends holding it out, and they toss that bowling ball on. It's going to bend a lot. It's going to make a big old bowl down in it. Man, this walking and talking. I'm a pacer, so... you should have seen me when I would teach. I was probably all over that classroom. Let me switch hands here. Okay, now, so the other thing then is if you do a tennis ball on that same sheet, it's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be less density. Actually, if you have the bowling ball already on there and then you toss a tennis ball on, what's going to happen? That tennis ball is going to roll around, kind of like it's orbiting something heavy, kind of like our planets do. Yeah, something to that, huh? No. No, I'm just saying that's literally how it works anyway, guys. Oh, that smell. Is that camphor? I don't know if I've ever smelled camphor, but what I smell smells like it would be called camphor. Oh, it's a very aromatic plant. Oh, that's gorgeous. It smells like something you'd find at like Bath and Body Works. Like in the gardenia section or something. Whatever they have. But either way, okay, so back to physics. All right, so you make that survey. Now, I would ascertain, or I would I suspect if our clocks were accurate enough, you would be able to, based on the time reading, the time differences, you would be able to determine what the hell, something dug a giant ass hole on my ridge. Come on. What does that? I don't see any paw prints. Oh, that's probably a fox or a coyote. We've got coyotes and foxes. But no, so you go, oh, I see feathers. Turkeys. I bet a turkey did this. Dude, these things are huge. All right. So either way, you take a survey of a grid using atomic clocks. Now, you do it over a known substrate, say solid ground. Then you take it and you conduct a similar survey to another known, and that known would say be a very cavernous region. And you see if the density, where the lack of material where the caves are, is going to actually cause a time difference because there's actually less material under the ground. Now, you could also advance your surveys. The density of water is going to have it's going to be different, and if the clocks are accurate enough, they would be different than oil. Oil's more dense than water, so you would probably have a time difference. So if you had an accurate enough grid of atomic clocks, then based on the time differences between those atomic clocks, you should be able to ascertain what's under the ground. Is it a cave system? Is it an underground river, underground ocean? Is it solid ground, or is it oil? I don't know. That's just my idea. I don't know if I know we're making some really good advancements with atomic clocks. However, I'm not sure if these clocks exist yet. But when they do, come on, you can do this. Use it. Think outside the box. Use time to start doing your archaeological, well, not archaeological, but your geologic surveys. I bet we could get scary accurate using time to actually conduct, geological surveys and stuff of the earth, and we might find some really neat things too. I wouldn't be surprised that, because the earth is actually an oblate spheroid. It's not a perfect circle. So therefore, I bet time literally flows differently, probably imperceptibly. Keep this all in mind. We're talking about accuracies that are extremely, extremely minute. Not minute accuracies. I bet the readings, the measurements are they have to be extremely precise. Sorry, opposite of what I actually said. They need to be extremely precise. So these precise readings, yeah, I think we could probably create a catalog, and we would find that where the core of the earth may be shifted, maybe more towards one pole towards another, or maybe that giant blob of the core. We might even find cycles of time that exist within the core of the earth, where because of the rotation of the earth with that giant metallic core, it's probably shifting densities at some point. If you think about the magma layer of the earth and then the core, it's pretty fluid with only a very thin crust. I'm sure the densities of the earth as it rotates, probably those densities would literally affect the swirling of time in different places as that core turns. It's just such a cool concept. Well, all right, this has been a long talk. I'm going to see how this mic works. I'm going to go work on some music and stuff. And I'm going to see if I can take a song I'm trying to learn. I'm going to see if I can take the audio files, extrapolate those from like the YouTube video, break those out into separate audio files, and then see if I can run that into a, I don't know, basically isolate them, and then maybe see if I can find some software that'll automatically convert that into some sort of music tablature or something like that. We'll see. I'll have to figure it out. I don't know. Well, been a good walk and talk. If nobody watches it, I don't care. Whatever. You guys have a good day. All right. Enjoy.